Today we will be studying about phrases and clauses. Both are required to be studied together. Phrases and clauses. There are some differences and there are a few similarities between these two. So first of all, let us see the differences between phrases and clauses. And before that, we will see that what is the meaning of phrase. Phrase means a group of words. A group of words which makes sense, but it is incomplete. Example: rich man, fast, runner, beautiful, flower. So sense is there that I am talking about a rich man, I am talking about somebody who runs very fast, I am talking about a flower which looks very beautiful, but it is not clear that which flower I am talking about, where the flower is, how big the flower is. There is no reference. It is incomplete. But in clauses, it is a group of words containing subject plus verb plus object. It makes a complete sense. It makes a complete sense. Example: mother loves her kid. It is very clear. About whom am I talking? About whom am I talking? I am talking about mother and the kid. Mother and the kid. Who is doing the action verb? Who is the doer? Mother is the doer. On whom the effect of doing is falling? Kid. So kid is object here and mother is subject. And to love is a verb, isn't it? So here the sense is very much clear. But since it is only one sentence, it is not joined by any condition. So none of the clauses are depending upon each other. Let us come to that little later. As of now, can we call it as not a phrase but a clause? It is a clause, not a phrase. So although these are incomplete group of words, these are phrases. But this type of sentence are clauses. Now I have taken a very simple example to illustrate you in the beginning. Now I will take a little different example in which there will be two sentences joined by any condition or any conjunction. Conjunction you all know? Yes. Like and, but, although, whenever, either, neither, neither nor, either or. So these are kind of conjunctions, conditional statements and all. So if I make a complex sentence like this: the mother feeds the kid when it cries. when it cries. So here you see that there are a number of phrases. One phrase is the mother feeds the kid when it cries. So the mother feeds the kid. It is complete or incomplete? It is complete. But if I say it cries, if I say it cries, is it complete or incomplete? Incomplete. So this part is a phrase, this part is a clause, and if I take it as a clause, because it is also making a sense. What is crying? Baby is crying. What cries? Baby cries. Okay. So if I take it as a clause, that it cries, meaning is clear in the whole sentence. If I see the whole sentence, then meaning is clear. If I see the whole sentence, then the meaning is clear. That here it is nothing but the kid. Kid is noun and it is pronoun. So it is clear to me now that I am talking about the kid. Which is what is crying here? Kid is crying. What cries? Kid cries. But unless I don't write this sentence, this meaning is not clear. So this clause is a complete clause. This clause makes a complete sense only if the first part of the sentence exists. That means it is main clause or principal clause, and this is subordinate clause. Clear? This part becomes principal clause, and this is subordinate clause. Don't go by this jargon. It can also be called as the main clause, dependent clause, and this is dependent clause. So can I call this part as independent clause? Yes. It is an independent clause. Can I say mother loves her kid is an independent clause? Yes, it is also an independent clause. So in case of independent clause, there are no conditional statements. It is always a simple sentence. It is always a simple sentence with one subject, one object, one verb. Clear? Yes, but if there are more than one subject, more than one verb, more than one object, then they are joined by conjunctions or some words of conditions like but, although, if, then, if, else. So if such conditions are there, then we join more than one simple sentences to make them compound sentences. In that case, one part will make a complete sense and the other part will make incomplete sense. The one part which will make incomplete sense without the other is called as subordinate clause. Clear? In case of phrases, there can be three types of phrases. Phrases of adverb, phrases of adjective, and phrases of noun. Alright. So now let us again come back to phrase. Now what is the similarity between phrases and clauses? Difference is clear that phrases do not make complete sense. Clauses make complete sense. Then what is the difference? Difference is that phrases do not make complete sense, clauses make complete sense. Phrase is a part of sentence and clause is also a part of sentence. Clauses are broadly of two types, independent and dependent, main and subordinate, principal or subordinate. Two types. But phrases are not distributed as main phrase or subordinate phrase. Phrases are only phrases. Alright? There are no two broad classifications. Directly three classifications are there. One classification is phrases of adverb, phrases of adverb. Now can you recall how many types of adverbs are there? Adverb of time, adverb of place, manner, degree, frequency, adverb of time. So depending upon that, there can be phrases of adverb like runs runs every day, or daily runner. I am using adverb. Here verb is to run, noun is runner, and I am using a adverb daily, adverb of time for somebody who runs. Similarly, we can take phrases of adjective. Phrases of adjective. As before, beautiful flower, or rich man, or strong boy. Strong boy. Boy is noun. Strong is qualifying the noun. So strong is adjective. So it's a phrase of adjective. Now, phrases of noun. A part of or a group of words which contains noun, like Ram plays. Ram plays. So Ram is noun, plays is verb. Alright? Ram plays, okay? It does not make complete sense that Ram, what does Ram play? So Ram is a noun here and it is a phrase of noun. Now how important is it to classify any phrase or clause like this? How important is it in our daily life? Is it important for our daily life? Why? What happens is when we speak English in a convergent manner in our daily language, we hardly use complete sentences. Except me. I have a bad habit of using complete sentences to talk. This bad habit has come from my teacher's instruction. But generally, when you will find that people talk in English, those who are like native English speakers or common English speakers or frequent English speakers, they talk in choppy rhythms or they talk in a few fragments of sentences. Like we say good morning. Do we say I am wishing you good morning? Do we say? No. We simply say good morning. We say thank you. Do we say I am thanking you? Alright. So these are like, when we say thank you. So thank is what? Verb. Thanking somebody is a verb. Whom we are thanking? Somebody, you. So it is an adverb. It is a phrase of? No. Phrase of? Noun. Noun, you. Welcome. It is a phrase making a complete sentence. Making a sense but not complete. Whom am I welcoming? Whom am I welcoming? None. Nobody. Isn't it? So these phrases actually they help us to give instruction or express ourselves in short. It helps us to express ourselves in short. Say when we say, may I come in? It is a complete sentence. We say come in. We don't say, yes, you please come in. Do we say? So, phrases helps us to speak effectively in less time. Half of the things are understood and half of the things are said. Somebody says, sir, may I come in? I would simply say, yes. Or I may simply say come in. But I would not say, yes. The one who is sitting there, the one who is standing there, please come in. I would not say that much. If I say the one who is standing there is one sentence. The one who is standing there is one sentence. You may please come inside. The second sentence, I have joined them with the help of a punctuation, comma. The one who is asking for permission can come in. What kind of expression will it be? How funny will it be? Let us try that. Somebody go out. Any one of you go out. Come on. You go out and then say, sir, may I please come in? The boy who took permission just now to come into the class is hereby permitted to come into the class. So he may come inside the class. Is it required to be said like that? Is it required? I can use a simple phrase. I can say, please come in. Please come in. Yes. So it is a phrase, not a clause. What could have been the clause? Making a complete big sentence. Joining them with punctuation, joining them with conjunction, joining them with, conditional statements. Alright. So in effective communication skill, phrases helps us a lot. Clear? Similarly, in case of clauses, there are two types of clauses. Independent clause and dependent clause. Now say if I say students study at home every day. Every day is what? Adverb of time. So it is a clause of adverb. Clause of adverb. Is it making complete sense? Is it making a complete sense? Yes. Now if I say students study at home every day during examination. During examination. So here again there are two phrases. This is during examination. Is it making complete sense? During examination, is it making complete sense?
No, sir.
Every day during examination?
No, sir.
Does not make any sense. So it becomes more sensible if we take the first part of the sentence. So this is an independent or principal clause. This is a dependent or subordinate clause. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Clear now? Now, either dependent or independent clause, it depends upon what the object is. If the object is noun and it is qualified, the noun is qualified by some way, then we will call it as clause of adjective. Like they are good wrestlers. So it is a clause again. Clauses are sentences. I may say clauses are sentences. They are good wrestlers. So here wrestlers means noun. This is adjective. So I am using a clause of adjective. Now if I say they wrestle every day. They wrestle every day. So this becomes a clause of adverb. Wrestling is a verb. To wrestle is a verb. When do they do that? They do that every day. So it is a clause of adverb. Again, wrestlers eat protein diet or protein say. If I say wrestlers eat protein. So here I am talking about noun and noun. So this is a clause of noun. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Now a small quiz. a small quiz for all of you. Okay. So I will turn the camera and then I will see who answers me. Alright. So here I go. Alright, ready? Which of the following makes a complete sense? Phrase or clause? Clauses make complete sense, right? Okay. Phrases are of how many types? The boy at the last with the white shirt, stand up. Yes? 3. What are those? Alright. Either you can say noun clause, adverb clause or adjective clause, or you can say clause of adverb, clause of noun, clause of adjective. Very good. Sit down. Clauses are differentiated broadly into 2 types. Which are those?
Independent and dependent.
Independent clause and dependent clause. Alright. Sit down. Simple sentences are mostly independent clauses. I am serious or joking? Serious? Alright. Now, the three subtypes of clauses are
Adjective clause, noun clause,
adverb clause. Alright, please sit down. Now if you are given a sentence, in that sentence after conjunction, if there are a group of words, then those group of words will be phrase or clause. Alright. Anybody else? If there is a complete sentence and after conjunctions there are a group of words which makes incomplete sense, it will be phrase or clause. Phrase. So is the meaning of clause and phrase clear?
Yes, sir.
Is the meaning of dependent and independent clause clear?
Yes, sir.
Is the meaning of noun, adverb and adjective clauses are clear?
Yes, sir.
Now will you be able to solve the questions in the exercises?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
I have some question for you. What are the similarities between phrases and clause? Is there any similarity between phrases and clauses?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir, phrase is a group of some words which make incomplete sense.
And clauses may also make incomplete senses. May.
Clauses make complete sense.
Subordinate clauses?
Subordinate make clauses.
Some subordinate clauses may be phrases. So there are similarities also and there are differences also. Alright. So easy now? This topic is very easy?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So how much marks will you give me for making this thing clear out of 10? So solve the exercises now. Start solving the exercises. Take out your grammar book.